ladies and gentlemen. Alright, horror fans, haunted house enthusiasts, and haunted house owners and operators from around the pumpkin world. This is Kevin McCurdy's Secrets of the Haunted Mansion Part 3, which is mostly a detailed video. And Kevin McCurdy showing you how he was detailing his haunt. Make sure you like and subscribe. And leave your comments below. Let us know if you think any of these tips still apply today. Give us some suggestions. What you'd like to see video-wise next. But here we go. Kevin McCurdy, Secrets of the Haunted Mansion, Part 3.
Secrets of the Haunted Mansion. Volume 3. Welcome to Secrets of the Haunted Mansion Volume 3. I'm Kevin McCurdy. We're going to be talking about 13 points today. 13 points that deal with the art of theming. Now there's going to be some how-to demonstrations, and there's going to be some scenes from this past year's Haunted Mansion here in Wappingers Falls, and some other things that we've created. But basically I'd like to talk to you about how to theme your attraction, how to be original, how to come up with the ideas, and how to detail your attraction to make it totally believable to the guests. Now, the first thing I'd like to do today is to go out on the street and ask some people if they have any questions for me. So let's go to our roving reporter.
I come to that mansion every year, and I want to know how you keep coming up with all those great ideas all the time.
Develop a story in sort of a brainstorming session. We sit down and each one of us has a different idea, a different concept of what the story should be that year. And we start talking about effects and working in the scares and so forth. And basically we sit around in sort of like the animators call a storyboard session. I think I have some footage of an old storyboard session. Let's just take a look at that.
Okay. This is the guy. He's going, ah, yeah! And then we have the giant bunny come in and eat him into his mouth. What do you think?
We have another guy show up with a shotgun, and he shoots the shotgun towards the rabbit, misses, and blows the other guy's head off.
And that'll be on show controller.
Yes, of course. And it'll be totally synced up. Are we gonna run a blood pump?
Here, can we get a harness?
Yeah, we can get a harness.
Alright. I don't know what we need it for, but it's just good to know.
Fly the rabbit out, maybe?
Crotch buster.
I like the year you put everybody in the casket. Do you always make it so interactive?
The future of entertainment is definitely interactivity. The more you can get your audience involved in the action, for them to actually participate in something that's going on, the more they're going to enjoy the show. So you want to bring people in from the audience to participate in the events that are taking place. It may take a little bit longer, but the show will definitely be well worth it, and people will remember it and talk about it to their friends, which is what you want, because that's going to bring more people to your attraction.
I really get creeped out by the sound. Do you guys do that all yourself?
Sound is an extremely important part of the attraction. Each year we have a local composer actually compose the music for us, and with the right sound effects, that can really psych people up for what is about to happen or what's happening to them. One year we had a completely black room, and the tech person wore night vision goggles. Now, he was able to see the group, and the group was unable to see him. They were standing in the center of the room, and with the right sound effects and screams and breathing and so forth, we psyched these people up so much. It was just a dark room, but with the right sound, we psyched them up so much that the person with the night goggles could tickle them with a feather on the top or blast them with a blast of air, and we had a great success with that room. We called it Chillerama, and it was sort of a 50s term. That was our theme that year. We were going back to the 50s. And so Chillerama worked very, very well for us. And that was basically based on sound effects. So with the right sounds, you can create the atmosphere, which you need to do in order to bring your attraction to total believability.
I'll tell you what, every year since I've been coming to the Haunted Mansion, I actually enjoy waiting in line. There's so many interactive things to do, and all the actors come out in their scary costumes. It's great. I've got a little kid at home. He enjoys it a lot. He really does.
That's right. Waiting in line is part of the experience. And the more you can do to entertain people and psych them up for what they're about to see while they're waiting in line, the better you're going to be. Now you can do this with costumed actors walking around doing different skits that are planned out, Or you can use a video, which is what we like to do. We have a giant screen with a video projector that actually projects a pre-show video that lets the audience know about what they're about to see, about our theme for that particular year. Last year we did a haunted amusement park called Terror Town Park, and they actually got to see footage about the history of the park, and it really got the people into the story. So this immerses them right from the very beginning and psychs them up for what they're about to see.
So this actor's really great up there. How did he keep that up?
That's a good point. How do you keep your actors fresh all the time? Boy, in the haunted attraction biz, that is certainly a good question. Well, I have a friend, Frank Petroselli, and he's our acting coach, and I'm going to give him a call. I've got some mail for him, and I'm going to give him a call and see if he'll come over and talk to us. We're here now with Frank Petroselli, who's been our acting coach at the Haunted Mansion for the past 6 years, but he's actually worked at the Haunted Mansion for
20 of its 23 years.
20, and he started when he was 14 years old. He's also going on to work at Universal Studios Entertainment Division. He's been the star of many stage productions and dinner theater and so forth, and he comes to us now because I have received 3 letters in the mail, can you believe that, addressed to you, and it just so happens that they have questions for you. Some of our viewers out there in TV land have questions for you as in regards to acting in haunted attractions.
Sure.
This is our first letter.
Okay.
Okay? When training your actors, can you give us 3 points that you instill in every actor before they start?
Oh, sure. Yes. One is to stay in character. Sometimes in a live attraction, you might have like a technical difficulty, and you don't want your actor to be in there to like all of a sudden break the part they're portraying, just go, oh, sorry, my light bulb went out, and stop the complete,
Right.
stop the complete show. Timing's important. The actor should feel free to like ad lib, have kind of an outline, as long as it doesn't affect the timing of his or her part of the show or the next person's part of the show, like in the next room.
Right.
And stick to the script. If it is a scripted room, you have a little leeway to ad lib, but mostly the script is there for a reason, and you should stick to it.
So the 3 things that you would say is make sure you stay in character, make sure you stick to your script. Ad-libbing is okay in certain ways.
In certain situations.
And just remembering that big picture, that the next group is coming, and timing is okay. Great. Let's see our next letter here. There we go. Next letter is, how do you keep your actors focused and ready to give a great performance every minute?
Well, one of the things we've installed in the last few years is our rewards program. The managers and I, as performance coach, go through the house through the night, making sure that like actors are like staying on target and like really hitting like their mark, and keeping the show the way the show is supposed to be presented, and they gain points. And at the end of the weekend, the points are added up, and there are prizes given to the actors.
That's great, and it's good recognition by their peers also to see who's going to give the best performance of the weekend.
Yes,
everybody's striving to be great,
to be that person.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah. Well, that's great. That's a great idea.
Yeah, another way too is by giving them different parts on different days of the weekend, or even if possible, if you're open from like 6 to like midnight, maybe have them do one part for 6 hours, and then switch them to another part for the other 6 hours.
Right. Yeah,
This way they're in a new scene,
right,
with a new script, and they're still fresh.
And we all know how tiring it is to be in a part for 5 or 6 or 10 hours, and do that over and over and over again, and that does keep it fresh.
Yes,
keeps it fresh. Okay, the last letter we have here today is let's see. What's the toughest part of being a haunted attraction actor? Now you've acted for so many years in the Haunted Mansion. What was the toughest thing about being a Haunted Mansion actor?
Well, I would say the toughest thing is keeping the show fresh, because in a 6-hour period, you could be doing the same skit like hundreds of times over, depending on how big your crowd the crowd is. And what I try to do is like read the audience. sometimes you could have a little fun with audience members and really drag them into the scene, which one they enjoy, and two the other audience members watching enjoy watching that happen to that person, and it's fun for you because, as we know, we're all different, and you're going to get different reactions from like different crowds. So ad-libbing a little bit. If you can bring an audience member into the scene, like with you, and that's how I like kind of keep it fresh.
Yeah, and that makes it nice for the people coming through too, because they have a really sense of you're performing for them. It's an individual type thing. It's an interactive.
It's very rewarding. Yes.
And, yes, and people really think they're getting a personalized show. So that's very important in keeping with the whole theme that we're talking about on this tape. To have the actors give a great performance, because they're the ones out there that are representing the show. You want to keep them happy, and you want to make sure that they're sticking to the ideas that you have.
If you keep them happy, you'll keep your audience happy.
That's right.
You know.
That's right.
So.
I think that's a great set of rules to go by.
Yeah,
as far as
definitely.
training your actors.
Definitely.
Okay.
You know.
What?
I don't know. This segment seems a little different from the other tapes.
Yeah, there was no humor in it.
No, there was no humor.
It was just like a straight kind of interview.
Yeah, it was like kind of like dry.
It was dry. It was very dry. It's too bad, but that's all right. That's a little better, don't you think?
Yeah. Yeah, that has something to it.
Yeah. Okay, the art of the theme, the 13 points that we said we'd go over. Number 1, of course, detailing your attraction, making it believable. Number 2, creating the atmosphere and keeping distractions out of the way. You don't want any real-world distractions. After the people pay for their tickets, they should be totally engulfed in the show. Entertainment in the queue line, like we said, going into the attraction, actors staying in character, and so forth, right to the end. Everybody has a great time. Keeping your audience involved from the beginning to the end, having interactivity along the way, things they can do in the queue line. How about some trivia? How about having different signs or so forth with trivia along the way? It gets people talking, keeps people in the mood. Training your actors to relate the story, which is what we talked about a little bit. The emotional roller coaster. We've always believed a little bit in using comedy to get the people laughing and having a great time. That's the best time to scare somebody, when they're actually having a great time and all of a sudden there's something funny going on or whatever, and then they're distracted, and all of a sudden when the scare comes, it's twice as effective. How to begin creating that theme, like I said, sitting down with a group of people, but you got to know your limitations. Now the first thing to do, the first rule, is to sit down with a bunch of creative people and plan the best haunted attraction, the greatest scares and so forth, the best sets, and then start taking it down, because we all don't have the budget to do that, and you want to make sure that the ideas come through. And sometimes you'll find other ways of doing those things less expensive. The pre-show, talking about the pre-show again, how to psych your audience out for the pre-show, psych your audience up for the attraction, letting them know a little bit about what they're going to see. Gets them involved. It brings back that interactivity again. The story behind the story, something we like to use. The public knows the theme. They know what the story is going to be. Now, how much details they bring away from that, of course, is probably nothing. They just get the general idea, oh, this is a big Victorian house, and this man's created this machine to speak with the dead, and so forth. But we actually go a little further than that. We make up a whole story for ourselves. Sometimes the public actually never knows that part. But that helps you design the attraction. It gives you a direction in which to go to design certain elements of the show. So if you can come up with a story, as if you were writing a novel or a short story, and outline that, that gives you a direction to go on how to design your attraction, using, having a theme. You got to take a look at your attraction from the guest perspective, which is sometimes very hard to do. We all get very, very involved in our attraction. Well, take a step back and take a look at what the guests are seeing. What is important to the guest? Are they going to see this beautiful Egyptian sculpture that you've worked 3 months on, or are they going to say, where's the scare coming from? Where's the mummy going to be? So use that to guide how you design your attraction. Changing your show year after year, as I said before. Keeping the story simple enough so that people can then take that story home and tell other people about it, because that gets other people excited and they will want to come to your show. And of course, the last one, as I said in the beginning, detailing. We like to use detailing is believing. And how your attraction will benefit from that, of course, is when people go there and they can actually experience this total environment, the sound, the atmosphere, the acting, and they totally believe in it, then they're going to have the greatest time, and they're going to go out and tell other people to come back, and you're going to have many, many return visitors from word of mouth, which is, of course, as we know, the best thing that can happen. Now let's take one last question.
Daddy? Kevin? What scared you when you were a kid?
That's a good question. What scared me when I was a kid? Let me think. What scared me when I was a kid?
As you recall, Dr. Smith and the robot were out exploring the planet.
Well, what are you waiting for, you bubble-headed booby? Come along.
Dr. Smith, my sensors indicate the presence of aliens.
Nonsense, you Neanderthal ninny. There's no other life forms on this planet.
Warning, warning, danger, danger, aliens approaching.
No! Don't just stand there. Do something, you silly goose.
That was a close one.
Okay, yeah, that's a wrap. That was funny. That was a lot of fun, guys. Hey, guys. Hey, where'd you go? Hey, guys. We gotta finish the video here. Where'd you go?
Sensors indicate you are stuck in the dream sequence.
Stuck in the dream sequence? I can't be stuck in the dream sequence. Hey, hello? Is there anybody out there? Hello? Kevin? Hello?
It's McCurdy!
Yeah, it's me. I'm stuck in the dream sequence. I'm here in the Lost in Space dream sequence.
Yeah, right. It's a practical joke.
No, I'm not kidding around. You gotta find a way out.
What do you want us to build?
Here, I've designed something that'll get me back. Can you guys build this for me?
Let's see what it is.
This is going to take a couple days.
Well, you got 7.5 minutes.
Oh.
Now, that little illusion we used a couple of years ago in the Haunted Mansion. It worked out really good. The actor in the video handed the actor in the room a death certificate right through the television set, which was then given to a member of the audience and became very interactive. The audience loved taking those home with them. Now, let's take a look at a couple ways you can use video in your attraction. Now, the first way, as we said before, is we like to do a pre-show video. Last year's theme at the Haunted Mansion was the Terror Town Amusement Park, about this old amusement park that was all in ruins, and they were going to travel through it. We wanted to sort of psych the audience up for going into our attraction, and we wanted to give them a little bit of a history behind it. So let's take a look at last year's pre-show video.
Terrorton Amusement Park, a magical wonderland of rides and games for children of all ages. Built in 1932 by Tyler T. Terrorton, The park attracted tourists from all over the country to the quaint little town of Wappingers Falls. The shows and the ever-popular freak show made Territon Park the place to be in Dutchess County. His favorite attractions was a dark ride known as Monster Manor.
I understand that Monster Manor is your favorite ride. What kind of scary things do you see on this ride?
Ghosts.
Yeah, and what else?
Monsters.
There's lots of monsters and ghosts. And what's your favorite part of the ride?
Skeletons. Terraton, Terraton, happy place on your sun. Terraton, Terraton, good old family fun. Pride and games for any age. Fairy shows up on the stage. Come bring your whole family, and you won't believe what you see. Terraton, Terraton, happy place under the sun. Terraton, Terraton, good old family fun.
In 1959, Mr. Territon hired the great Samedi, a fairly well-known illusionist, to run the already popular sideshow at Territon Park. Samedi's background was clouded. There were rumors of his involvement in the occult, and some of his associates claimed Samedi was an active voodoo priest. The mystery surrounding Samedi attracted even larger crowds to the sideshow. Many believed they were seeing actual black magic performed before their very eyes. But in the years to follow Samedi's arrival at Territon Park, a number of unexplained events began to take place. Fires mysteriously started, burning rides and attractions to the ground. Local citizens complained about the sounds of screaming coming from the park grounds after hours. Through all these incidents, Mr. Territon did his best to maintain the park's positive public image. But a dark cloud would soon fall upon the happy park that would change things forever.
Territon Park, I'm standing with one of the security guards here on the staff. Sir, can you tell us what's been going on in the last 24 hours here at Territon?
Well, it seems we have 13 people missing.
13. And where exactly are these people missing? Have you checked the lost and found?
No, we haven't, and if we knew where they were missing, they wouldn't be missing now, would they?
So they haven't uncovered any bodies, no one's officially dead yet, it's just 13 people went into a ride and they've disappeared.
Yes, that's right. We're suspecting some of the ride operators themselves. Boys have been dusting for prints. Naturally, the public's pretty upset.
Really, someone from inside, perhaps sabotaging a Territon. Have you suspected the freaks at all?
No, people give the freaks a hard time, but they're just here doing the best they can with what they have to, make a decent living.
But they're so freaky.
That's why they call them freaks.
Indeed.
No, they never really did discover where those people went to. Damn shame those 13 people missing like that. Damn shame. We have no whereabouts of where the bodies are as of this moment. But
any blood?
There's been some blood. And we're taking DNA examples to find out which bodies match the blood that we have found.
Can we do that? Can we do DNA samples in 1969?
Hit me. We think they started missing inside the funhouse of Territon Park.
The funhouse. Monster Manor funhouse.
Yes, that's right. One of those spooky funhouse, haunted house type things that they talk about. You see them all over the place now.
Years after the strange disappearances at Terratown Park, Harry Dr. Fear of Finkel, renowned creator of haunted attractions across the country, has decided to reopen the gates of Terratown this Halloween to scare up some old screams. Come see Monster Manor, the infamous ride where 13 people vanished without a trace.
To experience this attraction, you will need to wear these special Chromatech 3D glasses. Here to explain further is our technician, Nelson.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Nelson Foley here to go over some quick instructions on how to use your 3D Chromatech glasses. Now, the left stem goes over to the left ear, and the right stem goes over to the right ear. And don't gouge your eyes out trying to put them on, because they are dangerous, kids. Now, it's important that you don't put the glasses on upside down, otherwise you will see everything upside down, and that wouldn't be good. And now I will do a quick demonstration of 3D Chromatech using this ordinary broom, and it will make it look like it's 3D. And it's coming at you, and it's so scary 3D, and it would probably be a lot more impressive if you were actually wearing the glasses right now. So, back to you, Chief.
barricade. They met a small man on a shelf. He warned them of the evil wizard Akros. Unfortunately, his warning came too late.
You know, it doesn't have to be a small man on a shelf. It could be a vampire into a bat or a man into a werewolf. Whatever you come up with, something original for your attraction. It could be just a floating head. But the idea of using Pepper's Ghost and video is something that's very exciting. And the video could be placed on DVD or a video CD, and that way you wouldn't even have any wear or tear of a videotape or having to worry about rewinding the tape. Now let's, Robot, I'm going to have to go and check and see how these guys are making out on that machine, because I really need to get back to the shop.
This why I have to code? Right. Okay. You ready?
Ready. Oh, wow, guys. Thank you very much. I appreciate that.
Huh. What the heck is he doing here?
Oh, I brought him back. I thought he'd be a good, help around the shop here.
Yeah.
What I'd like to show you now is a little trick that we use at the Haunted Mansion once in a while. If we need to make a nice figure, a nice body, we have a great set of hands and a great mask, a nice quality mask, and we want to put together a body. Well, rather than throw together some 1x2s or whatever, we like to have a nice form underneath so the audience can't tell whether it's a real person or not. One of the tricks we do is we just take this old mannequin chest here that we found a long time ago, and we use a material called Salvacet. Now this is great stuff. You have to use it in a well-ventilated area, of course, and you should be wearing a respirator and gloves. But what you want to do is, this material is a sort of a canvas material, and it's impregnated with a plastic that breaks down when you dip it into acetone. So you want to take your acetone in a pan, and you cut this into strips, and you dip it into the acetone, it breaks it down, and you put it over top of the body. And then when it's dry, it's like a shell, and you can just pull it right off, and you have a perfect form. I'm going to show you a little bit about that now. The first thing we need to do is to take and cut this up into strips, and that's what I'll do, and we'll take it from there. Once you've got this elastic cut into strips, we're going to set that aside for a second, and we're going to take some aluminum foil, remember old aluminum foil here, and we're going to attach that to the mannequin chest. Now the aluminum foil acts as a separator. This elastic becomes very sticky when it gets when it dissolves in the acetone. So you don't want this elastic to stick to the chest. It's okay if this elastic sticks to the aluminum foil because that's going to be on the inside, and you can just leave it there if you want. And what you want to do is either lightly tape on the aluminum foil, or if you can kind of form it on there, it's even better, because you're going to be wanting to pull off this elastic later. And if the aluminum foil is stuck to the chest, you're going to have a harder time. So we're going to wrap that up really nicely like this. And in this case, we only want the front of the chest, so I don't even have to worry about the back. You want to get it on there as tight as possible. And if you need to, you can use a little spray glue or a little hot glue to attach pieces of the aluminum foil together. And that way it'll hold it on a little bit better. Okay, now we're ready for the next step, which is to take a pan, take some acetone, open the window, and get your gloves on, because this can be kind of messy. Okay, what we're going to do here is we're going to pour a little acetone into the pan, just enough to dip some of that Silastic in. And then we're going to take our Silastic strip here, and we're going to put it right in and soak it. Just like that. I'm going to put another one in just to get it going. Now you want to let that sit in there until it can actually feel the Silastic get a little soft, and it becomes very, very pliable. That's going to take a second or two. Let me actually I'll get a third strip going. And this will dry pretty fast. What you want to do is actually place that once you have this elastic on the chest or whatever you're working with, you can actually place that in front of a fan. You don't want to place it in front of a heater or anything, of course, with the acetone in it, but you can place it in front of a fan, and that will air dry. If it's a nice warm day, it'll air dry in about an hour or so. You want to let the Solvaset fully set, and you'll notice, because it's going to get really hard, before you go and paint it or anything, because otherwise it will never dry. That's what they tell me. Alright, so this is pretty, you can see how now this has gotten fairly loose, right? We can kind of drape it. We're going to take that, we're just going to go ahead, put it over top of the body here. Now, this is really good for making mummies, because the end product kind of looks like bandages. So if you took the Solvaset and just did this and wrapped it as if you would be wrapping a mummy, you can get a fantastic mummy, and then you just paint it and dry brush it and highlight the bandages, and it'll look really good. See if our second one's done here. And when you put the Solvaset on, you want to slightly overlap each piece about maybe a half an inch or so, and the pieces will actually stick to each other. You got to kind of rub it, and you'll feel it stick to the last piece. So you do the whole chest like this, and you want to put 2 layers on. If you want it to be thicker, you can put as many layers on as you like, but usually 2 layers of Solvaset will give you a nice form that you can work with. And we're going to put some kind of understructure underneath this elastic, of course, possibly a wooden structure. If we'll go in the cheap route here, we'll just take some wood and create a little understructure for it. Okay, there you have it. Basically, we're going along. We're going to put more Solvaset on here, and then I'll show you how we pull it off. Alright, well, it's been a few hours and this elastic is nice and dry. We placed that in front of a fan, and now it's time to just pull this off. And I've done 2 layers of elastic on this body, and if it's not attached to the mannequin chest, we should be able to get it off fairly easy. Let's see here. Got a little bit sticking to the bottom where my foil wasn't, so you got to make sure your foil, there you go. And it's going to want to dry again, even though the outside is dry sometimes. Sometimes the inside may not be as dry. So there you have a perfect form of a mannequin chest. Once that dries up now from the inside, you can go ahead and peel the aluminum foil off if you like, or you can just leave it there because nobody's going to see that part. And there you have a nice form for a body. We'll do a little understructure, and there you have it. And that way your bodies will look a little bit more realistic. You can do the same thing for the arms. You can do the same thing for the legs. If you happen to have an old mannequin laying around, that's the easiest way to go. And if not, you can make a form and just use the Solvaset over top. And so there you have it. This can be applied also to other props that you want to pull a form off of. Anything can be formed with this elastic like that. Okay, let's go.
Another detailing tip.
A little detailing tip. If you need to make some candles, you can use PVC. This is 3/4 inch PVC. Now, a lot of you out there may have already thought of doing that, but here's just a couple little tips to make them look really good. First of all, you want to cut the PVC at an angle at the top. That always makes the candle look more realistic, because candles don't necessarily burn flat all the way down. The second thing you want to do is grab some hot glue and take and make some hot glue drips down the side of the candle. Okay? And you want to stagger the drips, so some may be longer than others. And once you get all the way around the candle, you'll have some nice drips going on there. You don't want the hot glue to be too hot, because then it won't. It'll just sort of flatten out. So keep unplugging the glue gun for a couple minutes. So you'll get a whole bunch of drips all the way around the candle. And when that's dry, you'll hit the whole thing with some off-white. That's usually a good color to use. Once that's done, you'll have something that looks like this right here. And now I'm going to let you in on the big secret. This is called Design Master Glossy Wood Tone, and it's a spray. It's called a color tool. It's for spraying dried flowers and so forth. You'll find it in the larger craft stores. What you want to do is take some glossy wood tone and spray it all over the candle, just like that. Okay, it sort of turns the whole thing brown. But here's the secret part. You take a little rag here and you start to wipe that off. And what happens is the glossy wood tone gets into all the cracks. It's sort of like dry brushing in reverse. So you wipe it down like that, and now you can see how the hot glue stands out. The drips stand out, and you get a little shadow in there. And that'll make the candles look like they're old and have been sitting there for years with all their drips and so forth. It really makes them look really good. This is our elevator. It's been a really popular effect in the Haunted Mansion for a couple years now. Even though we've changed it a couple times, the basic effect is still really great. People really like it. There's a steel cage that we welded together, and it's on a track. So the whole elevator slides back and forth approximately an inch and a half to give you the feeling like you're moving. We've actually found some real old elevator doors, which helped us out a lot. And then inside, the scare comes from the top. That trap door in the top of the elevator that's used for escape hatches, that's where the monster opens up the doors and comes down. Now, to get a little added effect to the elevator, as if we're changing floors, we've constructed some, not rotating, but some sliding scenery. And it kind of goes like this. Now this is scene 2. After the people have gone up a floor, scene 2 slides in, and then scene 2 slides out of the way to reveal the hallway and the guest exit after being terrified from the monster from above. Now let's take a look and see how that actually works. Scene 1 of the elevator, they enter on the first floor, which is our scenery outside. Then the elevator operator closes the elevator doors, and they're off. Now the elevator starts to shake back and forth a little bit, and there's some elevator sounds. All of a sudden the elevator comes to a complete stop. They hear something, and they open up the door, and they find out that they're stuck between floors. Now that's a panel that has slid in from the other side, okay? At that time, the monster from above starts to open the doors, reach down into the elevator, and do the scare. Now the elevator starts up again, and there's some more shaking back and forth. And then, the next time, the elevator door is open. Now, the hallway is open outside, and they're led into another hall, another room of the house. And that's the elevator. You know, stencils are another way that can be incorporated into your wall treatments. Here's some stenciling done on the wall that makes it look like some old Victorian wallpaper. And you don't have to be too careful. You can, it's supposed to look like a haunted house. So it goes pretty quick. You just take a sponge, stencil on some patterns, and you got a nice wallpaper. Well, right now I'd like to tell you a little bit about a new material that we discovered last year. It's called polymer cement, and they use it to face buildings. They first apply a piece of white styrofoam, white beaded styrofoam, and they put the polymer cement over top of it, usually troweling it on. Well, what we discovered is you can make some really cool props with this, and we'll show you some of those in just a couple minutes. Let me explain the process. First of all, you want to take some white foam, and you can carve this into any object that you want to apply the cement to. If this is going to be something that's outdoors, this is the perfect type of material to use because it's weather resistant, water resistant, and it's easily paintable. So what we're going to do is, let's say we were carving a tombstone, and we wanted to make the tombstone out of some white foam first, and we want to carve the name in the tombstone with a knife or something like that. Or if you were doing some pillars for a front of a mausoleum, and you might want to add a little ridge into it, or whatever you like. This stuff will conform to whatever you carve. Let me just to give you an example here. There we go. So you've carved out whatever you're going to apply this to, and then you're going to take some of this fiberglass netting. Now this is usually available from wherever you're going to purchase your polymer cement, and we'll give you the exact name of the product at the end of the video. Now what you're going to do is take this netting and you're going to put it on top. Now you can actually spray glue this netting on with some Super 77, which I have here, which most people are familiar with. You always want to let Super 77 just set for a minute or so that it gets a little tacky. We know we're a little tacky around here, that's for sure. Okay. And the netting sort of conforms to whatever you're doing, so you want to just place the netting on there. And this is going to take a minute. Just like that. And then what you're going to do is you're going to start to apply the polymer cement over top of the netting. The reason for the netting is it sort of holds that cement in place. Okay, and this can be spread on using a trowel or using some sort of a brush. You can even put it on with a brush. We put it on with our hands sometimes, but you've got to make sure that you wear gloves. I would not recommend putting this on with your hands, because it has the same sort of materials that cement has in it, and that's not good. Okay. So once you get this on over top of your netting, it gives sort of a regular cement look to it, sort of a sand finish. Now if you want to smooth that down, you can take a little water and a brush. When this starts to set up just a little bit, and it gets a little hard, you can go over with your brush and smooth everything out. And you can see how now I can get it into that little ridge that I made down there. Okay? And that'll tidy it up. Now when that gets hard, that's so hard that you can go up and knock on it. It feels just like it's a solid cement. So it's nice and public proof for your haunted house. And if you were to make a rock or a large cave or something, people actually could hit that, and it would survive. Okay, now let's go to the restaurant, and let me show you a little bit about what we did up there. About 6 months ago, we opened up a restaurant, and it's a themed restaurant called Adventures Cafe. And we had to build some various props that were going to stand up to high traffic areas, and we'll show you what we did up there. Of course, it's the middle of winter, so the water's not on. But this is our waterfall. As you can see, it's again made up of this white styrofoam, which we actually built a framework underneath for, and then applied the white styrofoam, and then on top the netting and the polymer cement one more time. This time it's painted to look like this kind of strata rock, and the water comes out here. It's totally weatherproof and it's waterproof. And so this is the polymer cement works really great for something that's going to have to stand outside all year long. If you have a hayride or something and you want to keep up your props, this would also make up a great entrance to a cave. And it's nice and strong. You wouldn't have to worry about people it breaking as people rubbed against it or anything. Now let's go take a look at one more use we had for the polymer cement. This is the rainforest room of the restaurant. We actually have a few different themes in our restaurant, and this is the rainforest room. And we decided that we needed some banyan trees in here. So again, we went back to the polymer cement, and over here you can see one of our banyan trees here. Again, this is all carved out of white styrofoam. We actually bought it in 2-inch sections, although you can buy it as a large block. And then carve out of that, but you can also buy it in a regular like Home Depot store for a reasonable price, and it comes 2 inches thick, 4x8 sheets. What we did was we glued a bunch of those together. We get a nice big chunk of styrofoam, and we started carving away initially with a sawzall. You have to be really careful. Now we were able to get all kinds of really neat effects here with the roots. As you can see, we were able to have like open spaces, and this is a high traffic area of the restaurant, and you can see how the polymer cement really holds up really well. Now if you zoom in, you can see how we created a texture on the tree trunk. Now as the cement is hardening, you can use some modeling tools or some sticks or whatever you like, and here we used it to create the tree trunk texture that these banyan trees have. And you wait just until the cement is set up, and then you go ahead and carve those right into the cement. And if you take a little water and a brush and you go over it, you'll see that it gets rid of some of the excess cement on there, and it leaves you with this nice carved look. And of course, when you paint it, you dry brush it with a little lighter color, and you have a really nice look to it. And this goes for if you're making tombstones or whatever you want to make out of this. You can apply texture with a sponge, with different types of brushes, by stippling the brushes, or carving out the cement with a modeling tool. So this is our banyan tree. And you come over here to the other side of the room. You can see that we have this little area we call the cave, but it's sort of a, like a lost temple that was standing here in the rainforest. We've even carved some lizards right into the cement here. And you can see it's really structurally sound. It's great for making tunnels or caves or so forth. It takes a little time, you have to be patient, but it does stick to the foam really nicely. So again, this can be applied to different things that you're trying to create, and it'll stand up really well. Now let's go take a look, while we're here, let's take a look at the other parts of the restaurant. We have some really cool special effects.
Must be 7 months or more. Right out of town and Monday. Looks like we're stuck in a low
Another detailing tip.
Let's go over here. I want to show you something. This is just a regular store-bought item. This is something that came out a couple Halloweens ago. It was under the name of Hollow Scream. It's a gargoyle light. Now, nothing against the gargoyle light itself, but I'm not quite sure if I would hang that up in my attraction as is. Now, this can be applied to anything that you see in the store around Halloween that sort of looks a little on the cheesy side. Maybe the painting's not correct or whatever. And I'm going to show you a way that you could enhance this to make it a little bit more realistic. Basically, the first thing we got to do is take off these beads, okay? So we're going to go ahead and just rip these babies right off. Because I'm not very fond of the beads. So you can see it's painted with sort of bright colors. And we don't want that look in our attraction. We want it to look like it's made of bronze or copper. You know, they sell great kits where you can do a patina finish on something. If you go into a craft store, you'll find some great little kits. If you're not too familiar, they come with really good directions, and you'll be in no time painting like the masters. Now, here's your gargoyle. It's all painted with blues and reds and so forth. Well, the first thing we got to do is knock that down. So we'll take the gargoyle here, and we'll just spray them all black. You got to take them down to all black. Start again. And like I said, if you find a neat prop around Halloween time, maybe in Kmart, you could get that prop and give it a new look, and it will be a fantastic piece. Let me just spray this down here, and there you have it. You have a black gargoyle now. So what you want to do is take some gold spray paint, and I'm just going to spray a little bit on my workbench here. Now, of course, you should wait till that black paint dries. I'm going to go ahead, just for the time reasons here, and I'm just going to take a little gold paint on the brush and just dry brush this guy, and he's going to come right to life and look like he's made out of copper here. This is just the easiest thing. Like I said, you could do a nice patina finish on it and make it look like it's all aged. And once you paint this up, it has a totally different look. And I have some friends in this business that are really experts at this, taking other people's props and things that they find around and changing them and making them look a little bit better or fit in a little bit better with their attraction. So you see in about 2 minutes, we've taken something that looks a little on the plastic side, and we've made a pretty nice little gargoyle guy out of it. And with some flicker bulbs in there, he's all set to go. Just like that. Another thing you could do is to get a product called Flex Stone or Make It Stone. There's a couple different brands out there, and you could spray it with that. Flex Stone is great as a texturizer. You can spray it on anything. If you want to make something look old, you can spray a little Flex Stone on it and then dry brush it later. It gives kind of a crusty look. or spray it out of the can, it'll give you a stone look. So there you go. There's a little tip on refurbishing some store-bought props. Here's a little detail. If you're doing a bookshelf, this bookshelf behind me is made out of Luan, and it's only about 2.5 inches deep. We've made that so it's nice and lightweight because it acted as a doorway out of a room, a secret passage that the audience went through. Now we wanted to keep the bookshelf very lightweight, so we went ahead and used some vacuum form books, which is one way you could go. They're pretty inexpensive. You can get a whole sheet of them, and you just cut them up and put them on, so they're pretty lightweight. They're just plastic shelves of the book bindings. But a more realistic way to do books is to actually get books, of course. And you can find these at a flea market or possibly sometimes a library will be getting books at the end of the year. You might want to check that out. And you can pick out some that have some really cool looking bindings, some older ones, or if they don't, you can always spray paint them. And what you want to do is actually take these books on the bandsaw and cut them down. So let's check that out. You want to take each book and vary the width of the bindings you're going to create. So we're going to go about 2.5 inches with this book. But the next book you do, you may want to go 3 inches or 1.5 inches so that the bindings are staggered. There you go. Place the books here on the shelf, and you might want even one to be tilted down, like in some libraries, you know, when there's a book laying down on its side like that. Bindings cut down. You want to stagger those on the bookshelf, and you want to glue them down with liquid nails. That'll help hold them in place. You'll need quite a few books. You'll be surprised. To do a 4x8 bookshelf here, you'll probably need 50 or 60 books. We actually did a whole library in our restaurant, which we actually cut down 1,500 books. We had a lot of short stories. Anyway, basically you want to find some old books, and that is the most realistic way to do one of these bookshelves. If it's going to be used as a door, or if it's just going to be used as a bookshelf on the wall. Just find some old books like like these, and you'll be in business.
That's good. Just throw us in a little bit.
Gonna happen again, because I need a new group of souls. Yours.
Need a little bit more noise.
Besides, how can someone be frightened of a clown? Well, these happy little fellows can cheer you up when you're down. But now it's time to stop clowning around.
What? I think we should take that as a good magnet. Things like that.
do that again. Okay, thank you very much for watching Volume 3 of Secrets of the Haunted Mansion, and we hope to see you again on Volume number 4. Is that right, Robot? Robot? Hey guys, what happened to the robot? We gotta build another machine. We gotta get the robot back here. Hey guys.
So thank you for watching Secrets of the Haunted Mansion Part 3, Kevin McCurdy's video. Make sure you like and subscribe to the video. We're going to have more videos coming your way very soon. More videos from other haunters who made haunted house videos. And they'll all be documented here for people to watch and enjoy for hundreds and hundreds of years into the future. Okay? Thanks for watching, and happy Halloween, happy hauntings, pleasant screams, you know the drill. Till next time.
For scary videos and more, subscribe to our YouTube page, Hauntworld.com.